How do you get motivated when you don't feel like getting motivated? And motivation isn't something that just happens, and nobody just automatically wakes up in the morning or when they need to do a task suddenly has all the motivation they need to do it. And the vast majority of things that we have to do in our lives do require motivation. There are a number of things, and it's wonderful if you can find them, that tap into our natural passion and our natural instincts. But the vast majority of success, as we all know, comes from hard work, just slogging it out. But to get those things done, you need motivation. So what are a couple of tips and tricks to achieve that motivation? So let's go through 3. And first of all, I just want to encourage you. It's been a tough year. If you have got exams coming up, if you've got big projects to finish, if you've got big writing deliverables that you need to produce, if you're at a postgraduate or even undergraduate level, it has been tough. And in one sense, we've had all the time in the world because we've been locked down at home, but equally that has had an impact on our mental tenacity. So we need to tap back into that to finish strong. And if we can finish 2020 strong, or at least better than we spent most of it, feeling fairly negative and uncertain about the world, I think that's going to be positive for you. So a couple of tips and tricks to get that motivation when you need it. Number 1, burn your boats. And I think I use this almost every day, or at least once a week, and it doesn't have to be for big tasks, and you use it with colleagues and with fellow students in project teams and syndicates, etc. And it quite simply means that you commit to something that you're going to do, and because you've now made yourself accountable to that person, you've effectively burnt your boats. You've got no way out. If you are trying to get to the gym, then get an accountability partner and tell them you're going to meet them at 6 o'clock the next day, and you know that they're going to be sitting waiting for you at the gym at 6 o'clock the next day. So you've burnt your boats. You have to be there. So do that with your projects and your tasks, and don't do it on big things. Just do it on the smaller things, and commit to somebody. I will send you that document by 12 o'clock tomorrow, for example, or by Monday night you will see this update on the shared folder, whatever it has to be. First, an important way of motivating yourself to get things done is to burn your boats. And it is easier to hide and to not volunteer deadlines and so on. And of course, only volunteer a deadline or burn your boats on something that you think you can deliver and commit to. But once you've done that, you will get it done. So that's the first one. And then the second one is just to break down any task or project into even smaller activities or actions. And if you are losing motivation because you're looking at something that is too daunting to try and achieve, then there's a very good possibility you are not being motivated because you don't know where to start. And that's because you're looking at something that is too big. When you look at a mountain that you have to climb, it would be completely demotivating to try and think about everything that you've got to do to climb that mountain, especially if you've never climbed a mountain before. And many of us doing a master's or a PhD or studying, it's the first time we've done these things. We don't have some sort of experience or some sort of understanding about what it takes to get through that. So what is very important is to start somewhere and pick 1 or 2 actions that is going to make some level of progress on that overall project. And don't worry if they're too small, because the whole idea is just to get something done, get anything done that makes some level of progress on that overall project or that task. If you have a thesis to write, just this afternoon write a paragraph. Don't worry about having to complete 50,000 words. Do 200 words, and then that's 200 words less. The Chinese have a great saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. So use that principle as well. That's the second tip to get yourself some motivation and to get things done. And then the third one is just what I call the power of 10 minutes. And what that is just a discipline around how well you use the 10 minutes that you get in your day. And depending on what you're doing, if you're a part-time student, for example, you're not going to get long periods of time that you can work on your degree and your research. You're going to get 10 minutes here, you're going to get 10 minutes there. I spoke to a guy in the podcast recently, and I asked him if he has boundaries between work and life and study, and he said no, it all blurs in, and he all multitasks on everything at once, and that's the way that he works. But what I got out from him was that, he might switch very quickly, but he will at least have small bite-sized chunks of time where he can make progress. Now the problem is, in those bite-sized chunks of time, if you don't quickly get into what it is that you need to accomplish, if you're not able, and they call it context switching, so when you need to context switch between one project and another area, so you context switch when you leave work and you go home, you move from your work life to your home life, you're changing your context within which you need to live your life and get things done. If you can't context switch quickly, then you're wasting the time in those 10 minutes. Now you're spending, let's say, 2 or 3 of those minutes looking for an email, or looking for a document on your desk, or finding out where you finished off that task the last time so that you can pick it up for the next time. I do woodworking in my spare time, and if I go into my workshop and the tools are all over the place and it's a complete mess because I didn't tidy up the last time, I'm going to waste an hour before I can actually do any woodwork. And it's the same for anything in life. If you're wasting time getting organized before you can do something in the 10 minutes that you allocated to do it, then you're wasting all the time that you've got available to work on it. And that's also coming back to the overall theme of this coaching tip today is, understand the underlying reasons for your motivation. So if you're demotivated, there's going to be a reason for it. So number one, like we said, do you need to account to somebody for getting that thing done? Are you seeing the thing as being too big and difficult to tackle? And number 3, are you not able to get into something quickly enough? And that's actually why you're demotivated. You know that you're going to struggle to make quick progress on that project. So even if you've broken it down into some small tasks, it's going to take you a while before you can actually get those tasks done. So set yourself up effectively, and as I call it, so that you can maximize the power of 10 minutes, any 10 minutes that you have or that you can snatch in your busy day to get something done. So just wanted to encourage you and give you some practical tips. We're going to go through these in a lot more detail in the webinar, and that will be available on the YouTube channel as well. But just wanting to encourage you and say 2020, it's been a tough year as I'm recording this, but there's no reason that you can't finish strong and you can't get those things done that you need to and achieve your goals. So good luck.